After slipping behind the competition who introduced luxurious private access areas for their suite guests a while ago, Princess Cruises are finally trying to catch up with the launch of Sanctuary Collection on their new 4,300 passenger Sphere class ships, Sun Princess and Star Princess. Having tried all those other line premium areas, I was eager to try theirs to compare. So I booked a 7-night Mediterranean cruise on Sun Princess to find out how it stacks up. This is what I found: good, and sorry to say, not so good. Welcome aboard, I'm Gary Bembridge, and as always, to ensure an unbiased and balanced review, I booked and paid for the cruise at the going rate through my usual travel agent. I will discuss later about what it actually cost me. It didn't come cheap. And also if I think it's worth it, especially versus what that fare could have bought me on other lines. But first, let me explain what the Princess Sanctuary Collection is and is not. First of all, it's only offered on their Sphere class ships, Sun Princess and Star Princess. It aims to match and compete with premium spaces on other lines like Celebrity Retreat, Cunard Grills, Norwegian Haven, MSC Yacht Club and the Caribbean Royal Suites Experience. Secondly, there are 3 cabin types aimed at different cruiser budgets included in that Sanctuary Collection. There's 80 suites, 123 mini suites and 12 premium deluxe balcony cabins. Now, unlike Norwegian Haven and MSC Yacht Club, the Sanctuary Collection is not a ship within a ship because the cabins and the venues are not all in one dedicated area behind a controlled access door. There are a collection of restricted access VIP first class venues spread around the ship, as you will hear. Now, to test everything out, I booked an S4 Vista Suite because there are some differences in the Sanctuary Collection areas that you can access and the perks based on whether you're in a full suite or a mini suite or premium balcony. Now, I counted 5 venues or perks, including one that I found added a lot to my cruise, as this new ship class has a big floor, and this perk got around that. More on that later. So what exactly are the venues and perks? I have to admit, my first impression arriving at the port was not great because there was no priority embarkation. Now, unlike, say, MSC Yacht Club, there was no dedicated luggage drop point, there was no fast track through security, there was no dedicated check-in area, and there was no escort onto the ship and into the lounge. Now, many of the other lines with premium offerings do some or all of this as well. My check-in was, though, fast, thanks to Princess getting us to do much of the check-in via their app, so it did make the process rather speedy. What they did have, though, was priority disembarkation. Sanctuary Club disembarkation started just 5 minutes after self-disembark. So I was able to get off the ship at about 7:05 in the morning to collect my luggage, and I was actually then one of the first in the taxi line, and so that meant I could book an early flight home from Naples. After embarking the ship, I headed to the Signature Suite Lounge, which only those in a full suite have access to. It's a 2-level lounge on deck 15 and deck 16 at the rear. Now, before going, I'd seen that all Sanctuary Collection venues were at the rear of the ship, and I recommend that, like me, bear this in mind when booking a cabin, location and deck. Now, I chose 15631, which meant I was just a few doors down from the lounge, and as you will hear shortly, it's really easy to access other venues too if you're at the rear of the ship. This is a big ship, and many of the Sanctuary Collection cabins were a good walk, several decks or elevator rides away. The lounge has incredible views thanks to the 2-level windows over the wake of the ship. Beautiful views. It was quiet during the cruise itself, which made it a good escape from the bustle and noise in the public areas and the pool decks on this busy mega ship. The lounge was open from 7 o'clock in the morning until 10 p.m. at night. This is different to the Suite Concierge Lounge on other Princess ships like Sky Princess that was on just 3 weeks before this. That lounge was open 24 hours. Now, some Princess regulars were unhappy with this time difference because they missed going in at any time to make a coffee or relax there. I think it could be because the coffee machines on Sun Princess were barista style and not the self-serve machines that they had on Sky Princess. The lounge has a concierge available from 7 o'clock in the morning till 8:30 p.m. at night, who could sort out dining, excursions, answer questions and deal if any issues arose. There was a bar with that coffee machine I mentioned. There were snacks relevant to the time of the day. Not enough for a whole meal, but it was really handy for snacking. The crew were so helpful. They would remember my drinks, like I had decaf coffee with cold skim milk. And they brought these little chocolate balls I loved even when they weren't out at whatever time of the day I was there. They also had special events in there. There was a happy hour between 5 and 7 at night with a pianist playing. There was an office reception one night as well. The next venue I want to cover is one that all Sanctuary Collection cabins had access to, the dedicated restaurant. The Sanctuary restaurant is on deck 8, again at the rear of the ship. It's a large venue because a total of 215 Sanctuary Collection cabins have to dine in there. The restaurant is stacked above the 2 other main dining rooms for non-Sanctuary Collection guests. Now, this stacked location of the main dining rooms is really important, and I will explain why shortly. I liked that the restaurant was open for Embarkation Day lunch, so it was great to head there and avoid the crush and busy informal dining venues on the pool deck, the outside promenade deck, and in the buffet, which is called the eatery on the ships. I also liked, of course, that it's anytime dining in the evenings. I really liked that they tried to seat guests at the same table, or at least in the same section, for every single meal. I had the same serving team. I got to know them really well. They got to know me really well. They were soon personalizing my service. It absolutely elevated the experience. I liked it was open every day for breakfast from 7 o'clock to 9:30 a.m. On sea days, it was open for lunch for a couple of hours, and then in dinner, it was open from 5:30 to 9 p.m. So what was more mixed about the restaurant? Well, unlike the competition like Celebrity Retreat Lumini, Cunard Grills restaurants, MSC Yacht Club restaurants, and even Royal Caribbean's Coastal Kitchen, which have dedicated menus and dedicated kitchens, this doesn't seem to be the case for the Sanctuary restaurant. Now, as I mentioned, the main dining rooms are stacked above each other, and they appear to use the same kitchen and broadly serve the same menu in all of them. Now, comparing the dinner menus, most nights it was 90 to 95% the same as in the other main dining rooms each evening. But there were 3 key differences that I noted. First of all, the grades or cuts of meats. For example, when the Sanctuary menu had ribeye steak, the other dining rooms had grilled flat iron beef steak. Second, in the Princess favorites that are available every night, there was a carving trolley with slow roasted prime rib and beef filet mignon as options, which others did not have. And third, the other main dining room had upcharge items. So if they did want that filet mignon I mentioned, there was a $24 charge. If they wanted surf and turf that we had one night, it was a $34 upcharge. So there is some elevation of the menu, but not as much as on the other lines based on my experience to date. Now let me talk about the Sanctuary Club, which is also available to all Sanctuary Collection cabins. This is an exclusive pool deck up on deck 18, again at the rear, a couple of decks above the signature suite lounge. It can be accessed in 2 different ways. First of all, via a glass-sided elevator, which runs, in fact, from deck 8, where there's an infinity swimming pool, and bar right up to deck 18. The lift door on deck 15 and 16 is right next to the Sanctuary lounge entrances, so it's really handy. For me, it was also ideal because that lift was just a couple of doors down from my cabin, again, that I'd booked at the rear of the ship. Now, the second access is via the rear staircase on deck 18. So if you're staying midships, that's the easiest way to get there. The Sanctuary Club deck is adult only, with only 16 and above allowed. So if you're traveling in Sanctuary Collection with kids, they cannot use the deck. The deck itself is great, with a decent sized pool, many plush lounges, these funky sort of day beds, lots of seating areas. I've seen some reviewers saying that there was limited shaded areas, but I found it was okay, and I could always get a covered spot in the shade. There's a bar, but there's so many waiters around, I found there was always someone on hand to take my order. They have a really popular gimmick in the afternoon up here. It's a champagne wall where you ring a bell and a hand will pop through the foliage with a glass of champagne. They laid on a small buffet lunch on sea days, which was Mediterranean themed on my cruise, but every day there was a relatively small menu that you could also order food from. It included items like charcuterie, chicken wraps, burger, hot dogs, fruit, and salads. I really like that the food comes kind of bento box style. So for example, I had a Niçoise salad. It was slightly deconstructed, and the serving in the bento box format made it feel a little bit more elevated, a little bit more premium. There was also really spacious cabanas to book. They looked pretty costly. They were about $500 a day to hire. They also ran a couple of special events on this deck every day. There was a fitness class every morning at 8 a.m. with yoga, stretch, or a fitness workout. They had a DJ playing on Embarkation afternoon, and on the final sea day, one of the groups around the ship called Duo Bellissimo, they played up here for an hour. It was very, very quiet on port days. It got a bit crowded on sea days, although I could still find a place to sit even when it was packed. Those are all the venues, but what about other key perks. The full Princess Premier package is included in all Sanctuary Collection cabin fares. While I really like the perk, there was that one that made the cruise on this new Sphere class ship significantly better because of a limitation of these ships. More on that shortly. First, what's included in that Premier package? Unlimited premium drinks, bottled water, coffee, including cocktails, up to $20 each. I also noted that the wine list had better wines for Premier versus Plus packages too. Unlimited specialty dining, which was great because unlike the other classes of Princess ships with just 3, there are 7 specialty restaurants on these ships, so lots of options and chances to use that perk. The Premier package allows up to 4 devices connected to Medallion Net Wi-Fi. It was though not actually brilliant for some tasks like uploading files. I tried to run a live stream, it didn't really work. Unlimited casual dining is included, so that means Alfredo's, the fantastic pizza restaurant, and O'Malley's Irish pub. Also, you could have unlimited premium desserts, those fancy looking sundaes. Premier also covers crew gratuities or fitness classes. Now that's a good perk if you do classes because the classes cost $30 plus service charge if you're buying them ad hoc. It included a photo package with unlimited digital pictures the photographers take of you, and 3 prints were included. It also enters you into Princess prizes. So when you return to your cabin, when the casino's open, it enters you into a prize draw for items like onboard credit, discount certificates, flowers, and so on. And it displays on the cabin screen if you've won something. I never won anything. Now the last perk is important for these Sphere class ships. This is the reserved seating for production show nights. The Princess Arena Theatre can only hold just under 1,000 people, but there's at least 4,300 and upwards if there's kids on the ship, so it can be really hard to get into the shows. Friends of mine went on Sun Princess and never got to see a production show, and other people I know only saw them by going an hour before the show started. Now I was able to get a seat within the reserve section, and they held reserve seating until just before the show starts. Probably about a quarter of the theatre was reserved. So based on all of those venues and perks, what did I think was good and what was less good? First, it is way better than any of the other Princess ships' premium and suite setups. The lounge is a dramatic improvement on the small, dark inside one on ships like Sky Princess. The restaurant is a dedicated one, not just a reserved collection space carved out of one of the main dining rooms. Of course, it has a deck, which the others don't have, and includes Premier Plus, which the others don't include. Secondly, it did feel upmarket and was an important escape and respite from what are very busy and can be very noisy ships. Third, for people that want to tap into all that big mega ship offers like White Horse bars, restaurants, shows, music, packed daily program events that run late into the night, that's all there outside the Sanctuary Collection bubble. What is less good? As it's not a ship within a ship as some lines have, and in some areas it's not as elevated as the competition, particularly with dining. Others, of course, have things like butlers, added touches like daily canapes, evening sweet treats at bedtime. That didn't exist on here. So did I think this is worth the money, especially what I could get with that fare level elsewhere? My 7-night Sun Princess cruise in that S4 Vista cabin cost a total of $9,400. That's £6,970 for 2 people. That's $1,350 to about £1,000 a night. So it's really costly. For me personally, I didn't think it was worth it because personally, I don't want all the benefits of being on a big ship. I would much rather use that money to go on a smaller ship experience because things like all that choice, the big production shows, are way less important for me when cruising. I'm not looking for a busy, packed daily program, lots going on. And for that fare and less, I could cruise on lines like Seabourn, Silversea, Crystal, Explorer Journeys, Regent, Viking, those kind of small ship experiences. And on those, I feel the service and dining is a bit more elevated, which is actually higher on my wish list. But if you want luxury with big ship choices, this I think would absolutely work for sure. Now, if you're one of those, join me over in this video where I dive into the Princess Sphere class ships and talk about what it looks like, the good and the less good about that ship, because you need to know that. See you over there.